The birth and early life of Moses is a foundational narrative in the book of Exodus, detailing how God prepared him to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Here's an in-depth look at this significant story. The story begins with the Israelites in Egypt, where they have multiplied significantly since Joseph's time. However, a new Pharaoh who did not know Joseph becomes alarmed by the growth of the Hebrew population. Fearing that they might ally with Egypt's enemies, he enslaves them and imposes harsh labor conditions. The Israelites cry out to God for help, setting the stage for Moses' birth and mission. Birth and early survival. Moses is born to Amram and Jochebed, a Hebrew couple from the tribe of Levi. Due to Pharaoh's decree that all Hebrew male infants should be killed, Jochebed hides Moses for 3 months. When she can no longer conceal him, she crafts a basket made of papyrus, waterproofs it with tar and pitch, and places the baby inside, setting it afloat on the Nile River. Divine providence. As the basket drifts down the river, Pharaoh's daughter comes to bathe and discovers the crying baby. Moved with compassion, she recognizes him as one of the Hebrew children. Moses' sister, Miriam, who has been watching from a distance, offers to find a Hebrew woman to nurse the child. Jochebed is brought in to care for her own son, thus allowing her to raise him during his formative years. Adoption into Pharaoh's household. Moses grows up in the Egyptian palace, receiving an education and privileges as a royal child. However, he remains aware of his Hebrew heritage, creating an inner conflict as he navigates his dual identity. As an adult, Moses witnesses the harsh treatment of his people. One day he sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. In a moment of rage, Moses intervenes and kills the Egyptian, hiding the body in the sand. This act illustrates his compassion for his people, but also sets in motion a series of events that will change his life forever. The next day, Moses discovers that his act has been discovered when 2 Hebrews argue. Fearing for his life, he flees to Midian, a region located east of Egypt. There he sits by a well, where he meets the daughters of Jethro, a Midianite priest. They are harassed by shepherds, and Moses defends them, leading to their father inviting him to stay. Moses marries Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters, and they have a son named Gershom, which means, "I have been a stranger in a foreign land." This name reflects Moses' feelings of displacement and serves as a reminder of his dual identity. For the next 40 years, Moses lives as a shepherd in Midian. This period represents a time of preparation and solitude away from the luxuries of Pharaoh's court. Shepherding teaches him patience, leadership, and the care necessary for guiding the Israelites. During this time, the Israelites continue to suffer in Egypt, crying out for help. God hears their cries and remembers his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, indicating that he is preparing to intervene. Moses' early life experiences shape him for his future role as a leader. His upbringing in the palace provides him with knowledge of Egyptian culture and governance, while his life as a shepherd fosters qualities essential for leading a nation. The circumstances of Moses' birth and survival underscore God's providential care. Even in the face of oppression, God orchestrates events to ensure that his chosen leader is raised and prepared for the mission ahead. Moses grapples with his identity as a Hebrew in an Egyptian context. His instinctive desire to protect his people foreshadows his future role as their deliverer. This narrative establishes Moses not only as a key figure in the Exodus story, but also as a complex character whose early life experiences are integral to his development as a prophet and leader. Moses becomes the leader of the Israelites, primarily during the events of Exodus 3, when God calls him to lead the people out of Egypt. Here's a detailed timeline of how he transitions into this role. 1. While tending to his father-in-law Jethro's sheep near Mount Horeb, Moses encounters God in a burning bush that is not consumed by the fire. God speaks to Moses, identifying himself as I Am, and revealing his plan to deliver the Israelites from Egyptian slavery. God commissions Moses to go back to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of bondage. Despite his initial reluctance and self-doubt, God reassures Moses of his presence and provides signs to convince both the Israelites and Pharaoh of Moses' authority. Moses expresses concern about his speaking ability, so God appoints his brother Aaron to assist him as his spokesperson. This partnership emphasizes Moses' leadership role with Aaron as his assistant. Moses and Aaron approach Pharaoh with God's message, demanding that he let the Israelites go. Pharaoh responds harshly, increasing the Israelites' labor as a result, which leads to discouragement among the people. The 10 plagues, Exodus 7:12, demonstrating leadership. As the plagues unfold, Moses serves as God's representative to Pharaoh, confronting him each time and demonstrating God's power. This establishes Moses as a leader not just among the Israelites, but also in the face of the Egyptian authorities. Exodus 12:14, divine intervention. As the Israelites flee, Pharaoh changes his mind and pursues them. God parts the Red Sea at Moses' command, allowing the Israelites to cross on dry ground. This miraculous event cements Moses' role as the divinely appointed leader of the Israelites. Leadership in the wilderness, Exodus 15:18, guidance and provision. After the Exodus, Moses leads the Israelites through the wilderness where he provides spiritual and logistical leadership. He mediates between God and the people, guides them in worship, and addresses their needs. Covenant mediator. Moses ascends Mount Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments from God. This event establishes him not only as a leader, but also as a mediator of the covenant between God and Israel, further solidifying his authority. In conclusion, Moses officially becomes the leader of the Israelites when he responds to God's call at the burning bush. But his leadership is confirmed and solidified through his actions during the Exodus, his confrontations with Pharaoh, and his role as mediator at Sinai. These events collectively establish him as the central figure in the liberation of the Israelites and their formation as a nation. And that's how Moses became a central leader of the Israelites and an important role as spokesperson for God to deliver his law and lead his people to the promised land. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. It lets us know to continue the content we are creating is favorable. And if you haven't already, come on over and join our growing family by subscribing to our channel. May God bless you and all your endeavors. Thank you for watching.